Hello, my aspiring developer friend. All right, so now you know what the value equation is. We've tackled what is value in software. We said software generally is going to decrease the bottom part of this equation to zero, right? That's what it's going to do. I didn't necessarily touch on perceived likelihood of achievement. This is effectively the trust. How much do people trust that you're going to get them their dream? Because if they really trust it, then they're more likely to buy in. And just using Netflix as an example again, millions of people use Netflix. That means that if there are people like me on Netflix, I'm more likely to trust that they can achieve the dream for me. Makes a lot of sense, right? And that increases the value of the service. This is why having testimonials for your software, for you as a person, is going to be incredibly valuable as you go about selling your software in whichever way you plan on selling it, right? Whether that be selling it as a service, selling your ability to do freelance gigs or land a new job, or getting a work raise. All of that is going to be based on value, how much value you provide to the people you're working for, to the marketplace, to your boss, to friends, family, etc., right? Whatever it may be, all of it's going to be based on value, and people will pay you based on value. They will also pay you based on, I will say, your ability to describe the value, which many people call that marketing and sales, all that good stuff. I just think it's a game. It's a really fun game that we get to play to make more money in the no-code space. Which, speaking of the no-code space, let's dive in and take a look at some no-code softwares and how they drive the bottom of this time delay, effort, and sacrifice to zero for you, right? So, first and foremost, we've got FlutterFlow, right? So, what are the normal barriers to entry to building an application? First one, you generally need to know how to code. That's a massive barrier. If we're looking at this, that's a huge amount of effort and sacrifice. There's so much time that is involved in teaching yourself how to write syntactically correct code. It is insane, right? So that's massive. That's a huge, huge barrier to entry. But FlutterFlow says for the majority of your use cases, you do not need to know how to write any code. And if you do need to know how to write code, we actually have an AI agent that can write it for you if you can describe in English what you need it to do. Not only that, but we've recently released features that let you draw, sketch out on a notepad what you would like something to look like, and our AI will create it for you. All of these are valuable because they are like, first and foremost, they're looking at a dream, right? I want to create an app. There's an app I want to build. I don't know how to code. I don't want to learn how to code. Is there something that lets me do this? FlutterFlow says yes. Yes, there is. And the perceived likelihood of achievement, again, just bringing this in, there are so many people who have used FlutterFlow to create amazing apps. There's a bank that has been able to use FlutterFlow to make an app for themselves. There have been incredible apps that have come out of FlutterFlow, and people can generally create it in less than a week for some really high quality MVPs. So you've got Google in here, Silver, Atlassian. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's cool. Market. So there's lots of people who have built using FlutterFlow, which increases your perceived likelihood that you can achieve your dream by building on FlutterFlow. And that's awesome, right? So this is how FlutterFlow is valuable. You want to build an app. You've seen other people build an app with FlutterFlow. Hopefully you've seen me build an app with FlutterFlow and show you some of my apps like RoastMe and the no-code software selector. You can build it without learning code. So you don't have to go through that time and effort and sacrifice. And you can actually build the app insanely fast. So time delay is driven to zero. This is how FlutterFlow is valuable. This is why FlutterFlow is valuable. And so this, again, we're looking at the bottom side of this equation. Software, in general, will drive the bottom of this equation to 0. And that is how they maintain their value. That is how they create value. That's what software does for us. It makes life easier. It decreases the effort required. It makes it so we don't have to sacrifice. And it makes things happen faster for us. Communication, text message, email, social media, right? All of these things, this is what software does. And FlutterFlow is no exception to that rule.